Imagine a world where the conveniences of modern society have collapsed. Suddenly the grocery stores are empty, the tap water is undrinkable, and all those medications you've relied on are no longer available. The security of your home, your neighborhood, your city, is now a question mark. This isn't a dystopian novel. It's a potential reality, one that could be just around the corner. In this world, you can't rely on anyone but yourself. You're the one who has to find food, ensure clean water, and keep yourself and your loved ones safe. It's a world where self-reliance isn't a choice, it's a necessity. What about healthcare? Without access to modern medicine, you'll need to know how to treat common ailments and injuries using what nature provides. It's daunting, isn't it? But don't panic. There's a way to prepare for this world, to arm yourself with the knowledge and skills you'll need to survive and thrive. In these uncertain times, it's always better to be prepared. The Lost Frontier Handbook can be your guide. Meet the Lost Frontier Handbook, your ultimate guide to surviving and thriving in a post-collapse world. Imagine holding the compass to self-reliance in your hands, a compass that navigates you through the stormy seas of uncertainty and into the calm waters of preparedness. Let's delve into the treasure trove that is the Lost Frontier Handbook. This comprehensive guide is brimming with knowledge on historical remedies, those powerful antidotes used by our ancestors when modern medicine was but a dream. These remedies are not just relics of the past, they are tools for the future, resources to keep you and your loved ones healthy when the world around you is falling apart. But health is not the only concern in a post-collapse world, is it? Food, the very essence of life, becomes a precious commodity, as scarce as diamonds. The Lost Frontier Handbook is your guide to food stockpiling. It shows you how to build a stockpile that can sustain you, not just for days or weeks, but for months, even years. This is not about hoarding, it's about smart, strategic planning. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the economic collapse. It's a scary prospect, isn't it? But fear not, for the Lost Frontier Handbook is your beacon in the night. It provides practical tips and strategies on surviving an economic downturn, on how to thrive when others are merely surviving. And finally, the heart of the Lost Frontier Handbook, the concept that binds everything together, is self-reliance. It teaches you to stand on your own 2 feet, to be the master of your destiny, to rely on your skills and knowledge rather than external aids. Self-reliance is not just about survival, it's about living with dignity, with purpose, with freedom. The Lost Frontier Handbook isn't just a book, it's a lifeline in the chaos of a collapsed society. Knowledge is power, and in a world turned upside down, it's the key to survival. Imagine a time when the conveniences we take for granted are stripped away. Supermarkets close their doors, public utilities cease to operate, the world as we know it becomes a distant memory. In such a time, the knowledge contained within the pages of the Lost Frontier Handbook becomes invaluable. Consider the power of survival superfoods. These are not your everyday fruits and vegetables. These are foods that are packed with nutrients, easy to grow, and can sustain you in times of scarcity. Knowing what they are, how to grow them, and how to use them could mean the difference between life and death. But survival is not just about food. It's also about having items of value that can be bartered or traded. In a crisis, the value of items changes dramatically. Precious metals may lose their shine when compared to a bottle of clean water or a box of matches. The Lost Frontier Handbook provides a list of these valuable items and gives you the knowledge to recognize and acquire them before a crisis hits. Speaking of clean water, it's something we often take for granted. But in a post-collapse world, clean water becomes a scarce resource. Knowing how to find, purify, and store water is critical. The Lost Frontier Handbook provides practical, easy-to-follow instructions on water solutions, ensuring you'll never be without this life-sustaining resource. And did you know that there's free land available in the United States? Land where you can build a homestead, grow your own food, and live off the grid. With the Lost Frontier Handbook, you'll discover where this land is and how you can claim it. With the Lost Frontier Handbook, you'll have the knowledge you need to not just survive, but thrive. Don't wait for disaster to strike before you start preparing. The time to act is now. With the world becoming more uncertain by the day, you can't afford to be unprepared. That's where the Lost Frontier Handbook comes into play. This comprehensive guide is like a roadmap to self-reliance, a blueprint for surviving and thriving in a post-collapse world. It's not just a book, it's a survival kit, packed with historical remedies, strategies for food stockpiling, and tips for surviving an economic collapse. What sets the Lost Frontier Handbook apart is its emphasis on practical, actionable knowledge. It's not about scaring you with doom and gloom scenarios, it's about empowering you with the tools and techniques you need to stand strong, no matter what comes your way. When you get your copy of the Lost Frontier Handbook, you're not just getting a book, you're getting a lifeline. Included with your purchase are special gifts that further enhance your preparedness. You'll receive a medicinal garden guide, a treasure trove of knowledge on how to grow and use natural remedies. This guide will help you to become your own pharmacist, reducing your reliance on modern medicine and enabling you to heal with the power of nature. You'll also get tips on surviving an economic collapse. These insights will equip you with the strategies you need to maintain your financial stability and protect your wealth, even when the economy is in shambles. And let's not forget the homestead cooking methods. This guide will teach you how to prepare nutritious, delicious meals with limited resources. Because even in a crisis, good food is essential. The Lost Frontier Handbook is more than a book. It's a guide to a new way of life, a life of self-reliance, resilience, and empowerment. But to benefit from it, you need to take the first step. Secure your future now. The Lost Frontier Handbook is available via the link in the video description.